Alrighty, so game 2 going to be on Lightshed. Oracle taking the first game after what was quite a nice game, a bit back and forth, both players poking out, both testing the other one's defences. Yeah, but it was those Ultralisks in the end that were able to sort of crunch through and mash up the Marines pretty badly. Yeah, and you know, a big melee army like Ultralisk Ling can be hard to deal with. Some of the key things that need doing, you know, Lings on top of your Marines can be dangerous because your own siege tanks will do a lot of splash to them. So if you can get your Widowmines burrowed out in front, you can thin down those Zergling numbers, and then your heavy hitters, your siege tanks, your Liberators can start to go to work on the Ultras. Left to their own devices, what you don't want is Liberators shooting Zerglings and stuff like that, which can be problematic. So we'll see what happens in this game. It looks like Seli is opening pretty normally. It looks like Oracle is not. Is this going to be a proxy hatch? Is that what we're about to see? I do like a proxy. It is a proxy hatch. Yeah, lovely. I mean, what better time to do it? You know, you're one up in a series. If you lose the game, it's not the end of the world. Yeah, so the pool is a little early compared to the hatch. The worker going to come down? So Seli hasn't scouted yet. Is maybe going to wait for the Reaper. And do you know what? There is a chance the Reaper doesn't even see it. It depends on the path the Reaper takes. If the Reaper hops down this way to go across the map, he won't see this. If it comes down this way and goes around the corner, I think he will. So I'm going to continue to look from. Oh, he definitely sees it now. So the worker comes down and panic stations. So what do? You know, for me, a bunker is what you do. Just crank out a bunker. And given that this hasn't finished up yet, build the bunker here within range of it. But get building, because why wouldn't you? So another rack's going down, but no sign of a bunker. And once this finishes up, it starts to get trickier because creep will start to spread from this. There's a couple of Lings already making their way across the map. I think I did a video about sort of proxy hatcheries and how to make them work. You know, and your best bet is to send Lings across the map from your men, build workers at the proxy hatch, so that you can turn those workers into spine crawlers, and slightly later spore crawlers to prevent any sort of flying stuff from coming over. So for the time being, the Reaper can come down and can deal with the small number of Lings. As you can see, the creep is spread. It's now impossible to get a bunker on the low ground here. It's impossible to build a bunker within range of this hatchery, but I'd still like to see a bunker up top. It needs to be careful if these get surrounded and killed. This is not good. So I wouldn't be poking out with those at all. I'd be getting a bunker on the high ground here. I'd be getting a bunker here. Have my Marines ready to see off whatever comes up the ramp, and then get siege tanks out as quickly as you can, because you know, a siege tank in these elevated positions, you can start to think about how you're going to deny this and shut it down and make your opponent regret it. Get the medevac out as fast as you can, because you know, if your opponent is up to this, you can be sure that there's essentially not much atonement. There isn't. There's 2 queens and that's all. So you know, double medevac drop into the men just ends this game. But the Lings are going to come up here. It needs to get all of these Marines involved in the fight, but you know, shouldn't be a problem here. It's got to make sure he repairs these depots. So the depots are going to stand for the time being, but what you don't want is to leave them damaged like this. Ideally get all of the Marines involved in this fight. Definitely needs to repair this depot. Look, that is down to 152 health, so you know, another wave of Lings like that will breach the front door, and that is the last thing you want. From Oracle's point of view, wants to get some spine crawlers involved. Spine crawlers will outrange the Marines behind the wall, so you can move your spine crawlers forward to this kind of position, which means your opponent is forced to come down the ramp in order to kill them. You need to be so careful with the move out though. Oh no, he's shooting his own supply depot for a second now. That's an absolute disaster. Sniping the Overlord is actually not a bad plan, because there is a chance you supply block your opponent, and that is all good. Definitely needs to get a repair on this depot, and I really want to see the siege tank in production. So I think he needs to be careful down on the creep like this, and he has actually right-clicked the hatchery. He's not going to get it, and these lings are just going to surround the Marines and kill them. I don't know that, is this enough Marines to be marching down there and fisting all these lings on creep? I don't particularly like it. And shoot the lings. You know, you had enough to deal with those lings, but like, oh no, he's like shooting his own bunker again, his own supply depot. Do stop shooting your own supply depot. So once he's got a siege tank out here, he should be able to begin the slow creep down the ramp. You know, personally, I kind of feel that there isn't much of a point heading down the ramp until you're confident you've got enough to just come down and win. Again, the lings are going to get surrounded here, which is a bit unpleasant. So, you know, until you've got those heavy hitters like the siege tank in the back here, or a siege tank here that is just going to fire out splash damage. You know, don't worry too much about it. Build your command center so that it's ready to fly down. Build a CC over here and fly it down to this position even, so that you can expand. You don't have to whip to kill this to be able to expand. Do bear in mind, siege tanks can't see as far as they can shoot. So, you know, if you send something down the ramp here to give you vision, the siege tank will hit this hatchery. There you go. You can see that happening now. So the hatchery is going to go down. But you know, it has certainly slowed down Seli's sort of expansion significantly, and that is extremely frustrating. Yeah, but you know, in the end, he's held it off, so not too bad. Let's see how Oracle is progressing. I'm very pleased to see that he hasn't kind of just neglected expanding and stuff at home. He's got a hatchery up and it's mining, so that puts him substantially ahead. So all he's got a lair, needs to think about attack path. It looks like it's going to be similar to the last game. He's going for an early hive by the looks of things. I say that because the infestation pit is coming down, and in the last game I questioned that very early infestation pit and the early hive, but it turned out that it served it quite well. It's well worth chasing these overlords and making sure you get the kill on them. I don't think either of them are going to escape in the end. And that has heftily supply blocked Oracle, so he's going to have to build a few overlords to get himself out of that. He's not short of minerals, but you know, a dead overlord is you still don't want to be supply blocked for a time while you build time and those overlords comes up. That's a lot of queens in the main, and none down here, so you know, just needs to do a little bit of home management, a bit of housekeeping, tidy things up a bit. This CC, you know, this could have been built a long while ago. There was plenty of opportunity to build this. You didn't have to wait. You know, you can build it, and then once the creep's clear, you can fly it down, and there's no problem with that. This defensive setup here isn't too bad. You know, I'd much rather the siege tank was behind the supply depots rather than right in the front line. You know, making good use of. Look, these are still rallied over here, and that's kind of painful. These overlords just sort of flying across the map to their death. Yeah, but on the flip side, Oracle does get a good view of what the defensive setup is like, and also sees the timing of this command center come down, so you can be confident that he's got a nice economic margin. It looks like we're going to see some battle cruisers. The fusion core is being built, the tech lab is already done on the first starport, and battle cruisers aren't a bad choice at all. There's 4 queens in the main. That is easily enough to see off to chase away a battle cruiser. You know, queens they've all got energy, they can all drop transfuses on each other, but if the battle cruiser flies in here, especially with this patch where there's no creep in between, it'll take the queens quite a while to get down there, and you know, these 4 hydras are not enough to take on very many battle cruisers at all. So there is 1 BC in production. Seli perhaps just waiting to have enough minerals to get a second one in production. has got a bit of energy on these command centers, but there are mules mining, so won't take long for the minerals to come up. And yeah, there we go, second BC coming out. So looking interesting. We've got an armory just finished up, so possibly going to see some air upgrades for the battle cruisers, and that would be nice too. The Marines I'd like to see busy. I'd like to see, at least one medevac on the map, just getting some stuff out, getting some things done. Even if it's just giving you an idea of what your opponent's got. A little Marine drop in this position could pick off these workers, and it's awkward to get to for the Zerg. The Queens would be off creep if they try and engage there and would die. And obviously, if you drop in here, you'd see this Ultra Cavern, and there's a chance that then you can just snipe that down. The Nidus network, I am a big fan of the Nidus. It doesn't look like there's any overlords in position yet, and I don't believe there is overlord speed, but I still like the Nidus just in general. Nidus is a good thing. So, battlecruiser coming out. Looks like he's going to fly this one across the map and in, and I like that. That'd be my preference. Fly them across so that you can blink them home. This worker heading out is... yeah, not sure what he's up to. Is he gonna he's gonna build a hatchery here? And I don't tend to, if you suspect your opponent, and look, the CC is here that Oracle can't know about, but timing wise, he saw the timing on this, so you'd be thinking my opponent definitely needs a third roundabout now. It's just so annoying if there's a hatchery there, because even when you kill the hatchery, you've got to wait for the creep to subside. So Oracle can just be a real pain in the ass with this, especially if you've got sort of spare minerals, so that the cost of the hatchery isn't a big deal. But even if you cancel this hatchery, there will still be a creep hangover. So we'll see what the battlecruiser can get done. The 4 Queens should be able to deal with this. He hasn't got Yamato just yet. So what is he going to choose to focus on? Doesn't really want to be trying to fight the Queens. Wants to kind of get out of there and get over into this position where there is a more undefended base. Don't try and fight stuff if you don't have to. You're not going to... oh, it needs to blink out, needs to go. Definitely don't lose the battlecruiser. Okay. I like the inclusion of a few Vikings. You can just be so annoying with Vikings against Zerg, because bear in mind all of their supply is can't be arsed. Oh, sorry, Malcolm. Yeah, I believe Seli was having some computer issues and stuff as well. And has decided to kill his own men base. I mean, yeah, you could just click across the map, just see what you can get done, but doesn't. All right, so well that happened. Okay, GG, I guess.